Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something pretty dramatic that went down in the world of global logistics. The sudden, and I mean sudden, retirement of the entire UPS MD-11 fleet back in early 2026.
So how does a massive company like UPS just drop an entire fleet of planes, basically overnight? Well, the story here isn't just about one type of aircraft. It's really about a single, catastrophic event that became the tipping point for a decision that was honestly years in the making. Okay, let's get into it. So picture this. It's early 2026, and bam! UPS drops a bombshell. They're immediately and completely retiring their fleet of McDonnell Douglas MD-11 cargo jets. And these weren't just any old planes. They were the workhorses of their international fleet for over 2 decades. But to really understand why they did this, why so abruptly, we've got to rewind the clock a few months, because this all comes back to one single, tragic event that really forced their hand. Okay, so here's what happened. November 4th, 2025. UPS Flight 2976 takes off. But just moments after liftoff, something goes horribly, horribly wrong. The plane's left engine literally tears itself away from the wing. The aircraft becomes completely uncontrollable and crashes, leading to one of the deadliest cargo disasters the U.S. had seen in years. So, of course, the National Transportation Safety Board, the NTSB, gets on the case immediately. And what they found was, well, it was alarming. This wasn't some random one-in-a-million fluke. The evidence pointed to a much deeper structural problem, not with the engine itself, but with the very hardware that bolts it to the wing. And the culprit was a phenomenon you've probably heard of: metal fatigue. The best way to think about it is like bending a paperclip back and forth, right? Each bend creates these tiny, invisible cracks. They grow and grow until, all of a sudden, snap, it breaks. Now just imagine that happening to a part on an aging aircraft. It's a massive concern. And here's where it gets really unsettling. This problem wasn't new. The investigators discovered that the cracks had probably been there for years, since at least the last big inspection in 2021. Even worse, similar issues had been flagged in internal Boeing advisories more than a decade before this. So this whole situation went from a freak accident to a potential fleet-wide time bomb. And that is exactly why the FAA acted so fast, issuing an emergency order and grounding every single MD-11 in the country. But here's the thing. That crash, as awful as it was really just the final trigger. The truth is, UPS already knew its MD-11 fleet was living on borrowed time. Let's dig into the economics, because that tells a huge part of a story. Now, you might think grounding an entire fleet type would be crippling, right? But check this out. While the MD-11s were crucial for those long-haul international routes, they only made up about 9% of the total UPS fleet. That relatively small footprint made the idea of just walking away from them a much more manageable decision. And a huge piece of this puzzle is just age. By 2025, most of these planes were over 30 years old. We're talking about aircraft built in the early 1990s. And in aviation, age isn't just a number. It means more complexity, rising maintenance needs, and a whole lot more cost. And this right here gets to the heart of the business problem. The MD-11 is a trijet, 3 engines. Modern jets like the 767 or 777 have 2. A third engine means more parts to check, more fuel to burn, and just more things that can go wrong. The MD-11 was simply more expensive and more complicated to operate, period. And the fuel costs alone? Oh man, that was a huge factor. Just look at this. The newer planes, they can haul way more cargo for every single gallon of fuel they burn. When fuel is one of your biggest expenses, that's an absolutely massive competitive advantage. So let's put it all together. The entire MD-11 fleet is grounded. It's the busiest shipping season of the year. UPS is at a crossroads, and honestly, there were no easy answers on the table. They basically had 2 paths. Path 1, try to fix them. But that would mean spending a fortune on incredibly complex repairs for the entire fleet, not to mention endless inspections and a huge battle to get regulators to sign off. Path 2, accelerate the retirement plan. Just cut their losses, take the big financial hit now, and reinvest in a modern, more efficient fleet for the future. So what did they do? They chose path number 2. They decided to rip the Band-Aid off. The company took a massive $137 million write-off. That's the accounting way of saying, these planes are off our books for good. And look, this isn't just speculation. The CFO, Brian Dykes, said it himself.
They chose to accelerate their existing plan. So the crash didn't create the plan to retire the MD-11s, it just forced them to do it right now. It was a strategic move, not just a reaction to a crisis.
This decision really wasn't just about getting rid of old planes. It was about making a strategic investment in a more efficient, a more reliable, and ultimately a more profitable future.
So how do you fill the gap they left behind? Simple. You buy new planes. UPS is already taking delivery of 18 new Boeing 767 freighters, with most of them scheduled to arrive in 2026, ready to pick up the slack. And moving to a modern fleet has so many advantages. You get way better fuel efficiency, a lower carbon footprint, and simpler, standardized operations. It just positions UPS to be way more competitive, with a network that's both more cost-effective and, crucially, more reliable. You know, it's also important to remember this wasn't happening in a vacuum. The entire cargo industry has been moving away from older designs like the MD-11 for years. Everyone is standardizing on modern, efficient twin jets. UPS wasn't really breaking new ground here. They were just finally catching up to the inevitable. Ultimately, the story of the UPS MD-11 is just a powerful case study, isn't it? It shows how a sudden crisis can expose the risks you already have and force you to make a necessary, if painful, leap into the future. And it kind of leaves us with a final question to think about. Whether it's a plane, a car, or the software on our phones, how do we really know when it's time to move on? When do the risks of holding on finally outweigh the costs of just letting go?